So it says here that you have proof of God because you were in a car accident, almost died, almost crossed over, and you're now a strong believer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in a horrible car accident. The driver died, and I was impaled by a piece of metal from the side. And as I was bleeding out, lost consciousness, and I just heard a voice, something telling me not to go. It wasn't my time yet.
So how do you know that was a God?
Well, I couldn't explain anything else. I was bleeding out. I was almost out of there.
So the fact
it wasn't my time to go.
The fact that you can't come up with another explanation doesn't mean that that explanation is correct.
Right.
Okay.
I spoke to pastors and everyone else, and they was telling me that it was not my time to go.
So you spoke to a bunch of people who already believe that there's a God and believe that a God will talk to you, and they convinced you. I'm happy you called now because I don't believe in a God, and I don't believe you heard from a God, and I want to know how we could tell whether or not somebody was hearing from a God.
Yeah. Right. So why isn't the correct answer the simplest, which is that you were experiencing some form of hallucination due to loss of oxygen and blood? Wouldn't that be a simpler explanation?
Simpler? Not really sure.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I can see the rationalization, Walter. I can see God saying, you know what? I need to give Walter an experience that is of an incredibly questionable nature for which he won't have a really good explanation. But I know him well enough to know that he will infer that because he can't come up with a good explanation that I did it. And that's going to be good enough. And here's this other guy. I was already fucking going to kill him today anyway. Let me contrive to put them in the same vehicle. I'll kill two birds with one stone. And without ever presenting any actual evidence or communicating directly with anybody in any way that's detectable and testable, I will have accomplished all of my goals of making Walter believe in me and thinking that he has a higher purpose. That's a brilliant plan.
How do you explain the trees, the ocean, the fish? I mean, you think all this was just an accident?
Now you're distracting us with things that aren't relevant to what you originally called us. So let's stick with the topic of
God
you hearing voices.
I mean,
well, you need to demonstrate
I'm not insane, sir.
No, we didn't.
We never said
Walter,
you were insane.
We didn't say you were insane. We didn't even say that you're necessarily hallucinating. We're talking about you presented your case, and we're asking you, how do you tell that it's God? And when you get backed into a corner, you go to fish and trees, and how do you think all this got here? Which has nothing to do with the case that you presented. And by the way, we have a naturalistic explanation for fish and trees.
Mm-hmm.
How? Explain, please.
Do you want us to explain evolution or abiogenesis?
I'm not. So we have
science stuff,
Walter.
Like scientists. Well, yeah.
Go ahead. Say something about scientists.
I mean, scientists are just like not even real. I mean, it's God.
Yeah, I think we're done.
How do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't get to call me on a cell phone that is transmitting to a satellite orbiting a fucking planet where to get into this phone system that is run voice over IP as we broadcast out live stream to the entire world on a network of computers to say science isn't real. Well, no wonder you have concluded that God spoke to you. You've disregarded the scientific explanations that were more plausible that Jim presented.
Yeah.